So I've had a lot of people ask me about the way I do my talkbacks, and this is just the way I do it, not necessarily the way it should be done, but it works for me, so this is how I do it. So for starters, I have a handful of talkbacks on my talkback layer down here. I have a band talkback, my drummer has a talkback, one for Hank, one for Kyle, and then I have one for Eli, I have one for my techs on stage right, and then I also have two talkbacks, my talkback and my front of house engineer's talkback. I keep these two listen safe, so even if I'm in copied audio, which I am right now, running tracks, check, I can still use the inputs on my talkback, and my front of house guy can talk to me like that. And then everything goes to a matrix, my Q matrix, and then I have all three of the techs are also on a matrix. So in the matrix mixer, I have all those talkbacks, the tech talkback, drum, front of house monitors, Kyle, band, Eli, I think Hank's further down here, Hank, all of those, and then all those get dialed up to the various matrices. I know a lot of people do it on a talkback group and then just do the group to the matrix. It's probably a better way to do it. I've kind of added talkbacks over time, and that's just not the way I have it currently set up. I may move to that. Now, the other thing I have going is on my main page right now. If I talk to the band, check. Actually, let me get out of copied audio for this. Check, nothing's going to the bands. Right now it's going to the text though. Check, everything going to the matrix. But check, nothing going to the bands. I have a couple of macros, my talkback to the whole band, front of house to the whole band. If I turn that on, check, now I'm talking to the whole band. Pretty quiet in their ears, I don't want to overload them. Usually they can hear me pretty good though. I keep that turned off. And then I also have individual talks where if I hit the mute button, it turns on the talk, check to that individual channel. And that way I can talk to each band member by themselves, and it also is a safeguard for me fat fingering the mute button. And basically what that macro is, I can show you those macros. Basically, it is built in the advanced window on the mute button to both mute that, to turn the mute off on that output. So it's basically simultaneously muting and unmuting, so it bypasses the mute. And then it also turns the talk onto that channel. And then I also have it taking, muting the directs to all of my text. So if I just need to answer a question just to a band member who asked a question, not everyone needs to hear that. That's the way I do it. It works pretty good. It's not perfect, and I'm always trying to get other things going. So if anybody has any ideas or things that work for them, drop them in the comments. But it works for me, and I'm going to keep going with it. One thing I didn't mention, I also keep my solo here on this fader, so I can pull that down when people are talking, and I still hear everything in the matrix, just not the solo, what I have solo.